Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GABNET, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
We could talk about the saddest news that I've had in a long time. The Expanse has not been renewed for season 4 on the Sci-Fi, on the Sci-Fi channel. Yeah, to me, this is why Sci-Fi changed their name to Sci-Fi, because they don't want people to mistakenly think that they're into sci-fi or something like that.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern, join Alex Bennett on The Ramble.
What is the rate at which Americans are killing Americans or just other people versus these criminals coming into the country from Mexico that, for instance, Trump talked about in his State of the Union address, the gangster invasion? I mean, do you actually
I will agree with you, shit? But do we want more crime? Do we want more crime? We don't want more crime.
So, but you want them to be able to come in legally, so that if they came in legally, you believe they wouldn't commit crimes.
Not to the level that the gangs and drug dealers. Wait
a minute. Why couldn't the drug people and the gangs apply here?
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
There's a wonderful line in Raiders of the Lost Ark where the evil French archaeologist says, you take this cheap watch and you bury it for 1,000 years and dig it up, and it's an artifact.
Yeah.
You know, I got a couple of old girlfriends. If you buried them for 5 years, they'd be artifacts too, you know.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight. If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
I'm not trying to bash the East Coast or anything like that. They just play a different style of basketball.
Well, yeah, and statistically, they have been the weaker franchise of the two.
Finally, you can get hot and bothered on Connections at 10 p.m. Eastern Monday, and by delay Tuesday through Friday at 1 a.m. Eastern.
One of the first video games I ever saw was a game that Points for Pete used to play. It was like stick figures, pimps and hoes, man.
Yeah. Pimp Wars.
Pimp Wars. It was awesome. I was like, what are you doing? I'm beating a hoe and getting my money. What do you do? What? No, I'm beating a hoe and getting money. I'm like, no, that can't be right.
You buy AK-47s. And then a little voice comes on with Samuel L. Jackson that says, AK-47.
AK-47.
The very best there is.
Catch up on all the shows with our Weekend Flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GABNET. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. This is an Internet Network news break. IP Pingsley reporting. Our top story, the Great American Broadcast Network, otherwise known as GABNET, is now a TuneIn partner. TuneIn, the world's largest audio network, has joined forces with GABNET, the world's most innovative talk network. GABNET's partnership with TuneIn means that listeners now have 3 main ways to listen to GABNET programming: GABNET.net, TuneIn.com, and the convenient TuneIn app for smartphones. To participate in the network's innovative citizen panels on GABNET programs, use Skype and type the handle GABNET Live, or call on your phone 347-352-0079. For more information on this network, its programs, and its hosts, log on to GABNET.net. That's GABNET.net. This has been an Internet Network news break. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, it's Alex. It's the Ramble, and we go until midnight Eastern Daylight Time here on the Left coast, right. Wait a minute. Left coast, right coast in the United States of America. I've always had trouble with right and left ever since I was a kid. I don't know why, but I just I have to think first. I'm right and left. I have to think with my hands. I can't just go right, left. I immediately. Yeah. Anyway, I'm retarded. That's what I am. I'm retarded. Hey, everybody. How are you? Oh, we're until midnight. Another night of doing this. Tonight I really wish I could go to sleep. I've just been tired all day. I'm tired every day. I took a Xanax to go to sleep last night, and it has an after effect on me for the rest of the day. So, anyway, what did I do? Exciting today, right? I go down to Apple. I have an appointment at the Genius Bar. I always like to go down to the Genius Bar and kind of berate them for the fact that they've really kind of, ruined the term genius. I mean, they've made it a term which is, we apply genius to Einstein. They just did a thing on Picasso. He was a genius. Other people I would say are geniuses. Hitchcock was a genius. Edison, he stole from everybody, so he wasn't a genius. But genius is a very rare commodity, and when people have it, it is very, very special. So to simply say that all these people behind this bar at Apple are geniuses diminishes what a genius really is. And a genius is not some nerd who can figure out why your iPhone isn't working. All right? That would make me a genius because I know it isn't working. All right? So I've been having a problem with the battery lately. For some reason, it's just been depleting really fast. I mean, I'll wake up in the morning after charging it the day before. It'll be like 9. And I'm going, what's going on here? And there was this whole thing where Apple was doing something with their phones, which was not really nice. They were, they have that little percentage thing. It was not. What it was doing is it was slowing down all your apps as your battery started to diminish, so it wouldn't look like your battery was getting worse, but all your apps were working slower. And when somebody found this out on this terribly honest company, right? To make good for it, they said that they would take that thing off of out of the program of the iPhone, and the percentage you would get would be the realistic percentage. And all of a sudden, people were seeing that it was eating up memory like battery power like crazy. So, in order to make good on that deal, they said we'll replace any battery. And we'll do it up until the end of 2008 for $29. So I figured what's happening was my battery was slowing down. So I go down there, and I wait for the genius. And I have an appointment at 2:30, and by like 2:45, I finally have this genius look at my phone, and he does a diagnostic. They've got. I wish I could have that same equipment in my iPad. Just give me the same equipment in the iPad so I can just do it at home, where he just like turns on my phone, right? And then he does a few things on his iPad, and then he can look at what's happening on my iPhone. And he says, well, your battery power is only about 85%. He said, that's still very good. He said, we don't really start even thinking about replacing batteries till they get down to 80%. Okay, he said, but it's not your battery. So I said, well, then what is it? So then we went in, and it seems as though there's a thing on your phone that allows all your apps to constantly refresh themselves. In other words, they're constantly polling the internet, looking to see if there are things that you're getting or not getting or whatever, and you can just turn that off. And it doesn't do much of anything, because when you turn it off, your things are still going to work. It's just that you just have to push on the app to make it work, but it's not going to sit there constantly refreshing itself. And so he turned that off, And then he said, and here's another thing where it says, do a notification of where you are. It's a location. Location. Anyway, the location thing. And they said you can turn it to always check for location, never check for location, or only do it when I use the app. So I turned a lot of those off because there were things I didn't need them to know what I was doing. And the rest I put on, only when I open up the app. It's like things like your bank, they'll automatically know where your zip code is, but it's only going to happen now when I turn on that app, and that's fine. And he said, these things are probably eating up at your memory. So, I said, well, so's old age, but that's another story altogether. Boy, I was having a problem last night. I don't even want to go into it. Anyway, so I left the place. He said, you can replace the battery right now if you want to. You have till the end of 2018 for the $29 special, right? And then it'll go up to like $49. But what I would do, he said, is I would wait until like November. And if you see it's going down appreciably, you just come on down and replace the battery just for the sake of replacing the battery. So, But I've got a weird thing that I can't figure out. Maybe people can write me and tell me what what I don't understand. Here's how I've always gotten my iPhones. I've paid the $500 for the iPhone, and then I'd given them a 2-year deal, right? And that's the way it's always worked. I've had an unlimited plan, and I've been happy with that, although I don't use my phone that much that I need to have unlimited. But nevertheless, it's nice to have. So now I'm getting these things from AT&T, like, why don't you go with the next plan? And the next plan, which I think I've got figured out, I can get unlimited on the next plan. And then so far as the phone is concerned, I don't pay for the phone. I pay for the phone every month. And I have to pay for it over either 2 or 3 years, depending on which plan I take. And even if I took the 2 years, it would be cheaper than I'm paying now. I pay like $135 a month, and this would bring it down into the area of $96 a month for both the payment on the phone and unlimited. And so I'm thinking about going to that, waiting till the new phones come out, and then getting one of the new phones under this plan. Now, is that a better plan than what I'm doing now, where I own the thing? I own it outright now because, I've already done the 2 years, and I've already paid it off. Is it a better deal for me to do this? And then after a year on that 2-year plan, after a year, I get to get another phone. So I'm just wondering if I've been paying too much, is what I'm saying, for my phone plan. And if anybody out there knows, just you can write on the chat if you want to, not write on the chat if you want to. So anyway, I was just wondering about that. But anyway, so that was my trip, my exciting trip to the Apple store. And then I go down there and I look at all the stuff, and I'm going, God, I don't need any of this shit. There's just too much of it. And, the fact that that Apple is going to make this year's iPhone obsolete next year, or if tomorrow they come out with the new one and I buy the new one within a year, I'm going to want... So maybe this whole deal about being able to get a new phone every year is not a bad idea. Okay? And I think all you have to pay for, I think you have to pay the tax on the phone. You have to do that with this deal too, which would be about $80. But outside of that, and also you do get a discount on the monthly if you do auto pay. And my business manager doesn't like auto pay. He hates auto pay. He likes to get the bill at least in the paperless bill, and then pay it, okay, and doesn't like to go auto pay. And if I can save money on my monthly bill by, say, 10% because I go auto pay, or by $10 because I think it's $10 because I go auto pay, every penny you save is worth it. So I don't know. This is just the new deals, In the very beginning, I bought the goddamn phone, took 2 years, and that's the way it went. And I got a whole bunch of them stacked up over here, if anybody... In fact, I offered Larry Bubbles Brown. As you know, Larry Bubbles Brown is he's a Luddite, basically. He's not a Luddite. He just never has gotten into technology. So he's still got a flip phone. Right? Last guy in America with a flip phone. Although they're making new flip phones. But these are like... they've got excuse me, I got something stuck in my teeth here. Oh, God, it's a whole bunch of crap. Anyway, good dinner tonight. Girlfriend took us out to dinner. And I had Cioppino. Anyway, what was I going to say? Well, I figured out what I was going to say. It was all about the new technology or something. I don't know. Forget it. Last night I was having a terrible time, and I'm still having a terrible time. I've had a hard time coming up with stuff. There was a story that we were trying to tell, because I was trying to make a point about net neutrality. And that years ago, I think it was HBO, if I'm not mistaken, HBO, that got a thing against them by the Justice Department that they couldn't create movies. They couldn't have a movie company, because if they had a movie company, then they might just use their movies and not take movies from other movies companies who could make money off of selling their wares to HBO. But I can't remember the exact ruling, and I threatened to look it up today, and I couldn't find it. But my mind was a blank on it. But my mind's still a blank on it. And I wish I could remember the ruling. See, what happened was years ago in the movie business, I know this, there was an antitrust action against the movie companies back in the 40s, late 40s. And what that was all about was the fact that they not only owned the movies, okay, but they owned the movie theaters that they played in. For instance, Warner Brothers had a whole group of movie theaters across the country, and they would show their Warner Brothers films there. 20th Fox would had their own theater chain, and so did all the major companies had a theater chain. And what they would then do would be to distribute their films to these theaters. Well, there were a couple of complaints about that. There were independent theater owners who didn't get product at the same time that it was being released, because they would prefer to put them in their own theaters that they owned. And so somebody went to court and sued them. And the Justice Department and the powers that be said in this antitrust suit that the movie companies had to divest themselves of ownership in theaters. They could not produce a product and then own the venue in which the product was being shown. And this HBO decision pretty much was on the heels of that. It was in the tradition of that. And I can't remember what that particular decision was. But all of a sudden, these movie theaters are no longer owned by Warners and so on. So any theater could say, hey, I want that Warner Brothers movie, and they'd get it as soon as any other theater would get it. So, but that was a ruling, an antitrust ruling years ago, in which movie companies could not, and they still can't, own theaters, okay, or theater chains. Like, if tomorrow AMC, which is a major movie chain, suddenly decided to make movies themselves, I don't think they could, because that ruling still stands. And I think that same ruling was applied to HBO when they were trying to produce their own films and they threatened, I think, to start their own movie company. That's what it was. And the Justice Department said, oh, no, you can't, because you are the method of distribution, and therefore the method of distribution cannot own the movie companies. All right? Does that make sense? All right. Okay. I think I got it. Anyway, I was just saying that flies in the face of a lot of things that are happening now, where the internet companies are now, of course, they don't have to abide by net neutrality any longer, and to boot, they have a deal whereby they are buying up all these amusement companies, all these movie companies and stuff. I mean, we just had AT&T, who is an internet service provider, buy up all the Warner stuff. So they've got like HBO and CNN and the Warner movies and all of that. All right, and because they own all that, excuse me, I'm trying to do work at the same time here. Because they do all that, what's amazing is that this old ruling that went back to HBO and earlier on to the movie companies isn't holding in this particular situation, because when you have a lack of net neutrality and you've got let's say AT&T owning HBO, whose major competitor in the business, really, if you think about it, is Netflix. They're having to compete for product, they're having to compete for a lot of things. AT&T could, under net neutrality, say to Netflix, well, okay, we're not putting you on our system. Or they could say, this would be the other Machiavellian way of handling it, well, because you represent 60% of all bandwidth used in the evening in the United States is for using Netflix, all right? So the cable company, AT&T, could say, okay, we want you to pay more for carriage on our system. Otherwise, we're going to slow you down or whatever. You know, then people can't get 4K, and they got a slightly blurrier picture. And they could make it rough for Netflix, but they could say, hey, we own HBO, so we'll let HBO have anything they want. Ah, okay. Do I make sense? Anyway. Now, some people who called me and went, okay, well, it's not going to be a big deal, because that's not going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen day after tomorrow. But eventually down the line, there's nothing to stop them from doing that. And that's the problem. Okay? So, anyway. So last night, I'm in this brain fuck. I can't remember what it is. And then all of a sudden, I'm like freezing up on everything. I can't remember words. I can't get out a decent phrase. And I'm thinking to myself, either I'm really tired or this is getting bad. Now, I've got this thing where my feet are numb. Okay, so of course I look it up on the internet, and it's called neuropathy, or it could be that it's caused by neuropathy. It could be caused by something else. It could be caused by something in my spine, but that would also cause it to be neuropathy. Well, there's this pill, and I can't remember what the name of it, gabapentin, that my doctor gave me and said this might help you with the numb feet, right? So I tried it, and it only made it worse. Okay. And then I look up neuropathy, and they say, well, one of the ways of solving it is gabapentin. And I'm going, oh God, now these feet are going to be numb forever. And they have another thing called Lyrica, but it was invented to replace gabapentin, so it may do the same thing. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to a neurologist. But the downside of any of these drugs was it says, well, you have a certain loss of memory and you're drowsy. Huh? I do a talk show. I can't afford to have a loss of memory. It was bad enough last night without gabapentin. Okay? So I don't know, what's going to happen, whether I'm going to have to sit here with these feet aching like crazy for the rest of my life, or whether and give up doing any kind of a realistic show. So anyway, a couple items I thought I'd mention to you. We lost a television commentator for Fox, He was a Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist and a weird-looking guy. His name was Charles Krautheimer, and he died of cancer. He was 68. He was a Harvard-trained psychiatrist. He turned into an unsparing eye for the nation's politics, moving rightward over time, according to NPR. Krautheimer retained the capacity to discern the human element of political issues. He's a steadfast critic of the president, despite the high regard in which many Fox viewers hold Trump. So he was a naysayer over at Fox. Anyway, he penned a farewell column earlier this month, and he announced in the column that he had only 2 weeks to live and said, "No regrets," adding, "I leave with the knowledge that I've lived the life that I intended." I think that's a really nice way of putting it. I'm happy for him. So goodbye to Charles Krautheimer. Now, did you hear about the fuck up with Burger King? You know, they got the soccer thing going on, the big World Cup. Every 4 years they do the World Cup, and well, Burger King issued an apology after the company ran an ad in connection with the World Cup that was widely perceived as offensive. USA Today reports that the company has apologized for an extraordinarily insensitive advertisement that promised Russian women a lifetime supply of free meals and a cash prize if they were to become pregnant with a child fathered by a World Cup soccer player. Oh, God. They'll be apologizing for years for that one. And happy days for all of you out there. ABC has ordered a spin-off of Roseanne without actress Roseanne Barr after the show was canceled when she made a racist post on Twitter in May. The network gave a 10-episode series order for a spin-off entitled... We were wondering what it was going to be called. Some people thought it was going to be called Darlene because it would be based on Roseanne's daughter. And no, it's going to be called The Connors. It will star original cast members John Goodman, Laurie Metcalf, Sarah Gilbert, who was the driving force behind the revival. That's why they thought they would call it Darlene. Lizzie Goranson and Michael Fishman, and it will air at 8 p.m. Tuesday in the time slot that Roseanne had and was going to occupy for the fall. The report notes that, let me see here, what else? The Connor stories, we won't go into that. It's a whole publicity thing. But anyway, that was the deal. Now, I got one last story. Today, Melania Trump, or as we like to call her because Jimmy Kimmel started it, Malaria Trump, went down to Texas to a place where they were keeping some of these kids. Now, the thing was, it wasn't one of those big places where they were keeping the kids with the chain link fences and the, the thermal blankets and all of that. This was an outfit that the HSA, I think it is, has said, okay, you can take care of some kids. And they had I think it was 17 kids in this place, and she went and visited that place. She didn't go visit the bad one. She didn't go visit the gulag. She went and visited, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the nice one, the one that was okay, that was, pretty. So she showed up down there, and I mean, all respects to her for doing it, but of course I'm sure she was pushed out the door by Donald, who said we need some good publicity on this deal, so go do your best. And she's a fairly intelligent representative. She never goes off the handle. She never says things which are going to make you want to vomit or anything like that. But how she did this, I have no idea. She got on the plane to go there wearing a jacket. Now, it was a fashionable jacket from some fashionable fashion house. Am I saying fashion too much? Guess you have to when it's Melania. And in the photo of her going up the plane, you can't see what's written completely on the jacket, but we also have a photograph of what the jacket looks like in, I guess, the advertising for it. Here's what she wore on the plane. Can you read that? It says, "I really don't care. Do you?" And there's Melania wearing it on the left. On the right, that's a model wearing it for the company that made it. So I don't know what to say. Okay, but that's the latest gaffe for Melania. She went and did something nice, but she had to wear that. It's always a mixed message from that family. Anyway, let me open up the lines here so that people can start calling. If anybody wants to call tonight. Last night we had a nice bunch of people here, despite the fact that a few people were missing in action, and we got a lot of viewers. Really a very high number of viewers for this program. I think it was 4. No, it was a high number, and I was really happy about that. But except for the fact that I was just kind of losing my mind and didn't know what the hell I was talking about. And I was babbling incoherently, and maybe I should change from tea to coffee. You know, this is tea I drink at night. I only drink coffee on Fridays when I know I don't have a show the next day. But anyway, the lines are open now. If you don't know how to call and you've always wanted to, just go over to gabnet.net, go over to the right-hand side of the page. See, there I did it again, the right from the left. Go over to the right-hand side of the page, and there's a whole tutorial on how to call and be part of the Citizens Panel. It's very simple. It's one program you download that's free. It's a call you make for free. It tells you how to make that call. And guess who's the first caller up tonight, boy? It's SG, ladies and gentlemen. Then we'll be adding to that. And then we got Phil Meyer calling us. Let me see here. Let me move all this over. Okay, hello, SG. How are you this evening?
Hey.
Yeah, are you there? Let's see your picture, okay? And see if you can do it so that we don't see you from the nose up, all right? Are you there, SG? Turn on the picture. Turn on your camera.
Go ahead.
Turn on your camera. SG? Are you hearing me, SG?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me tell you to turn on your camera?
All right. Go ahead.
I said turn on your camera.
It's not working.
There it goes. There we go. There we go. It's whirling now. There we go. And of course, we only have half his face like we normally have. So, yeah, there we go, SG. If we're going to see the face of the enemy, damn it, we want to see it head on. You know?
It's SG with an SD.
With an SD?
Yeah, look at his hat.
Oh yeah, San Diego. Yeah. And of course, Jeff has joined us as well. It's a nice early little panel. How are you all today? How was your photo thing, Phil? Your photo club?
Well, I didn't have much competition. I got another first, but I had a shot that came back from the N4C, which is the 14 Northern California clubs.
Yeah.
And I took first place there out of 14 clubs. So there I had some competition. And I got a first place on that Oakland A's.
Yeah, but this is kind of like me asking anybody else. What have you done recently? Because these are all old pictures.
I didn't. I took that last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had season.
What I'm wondering is can I ask you this? What is the eyesight of these people who you're competing against?
Well, they have professional judges that come in and critique them.
Yeah, but if you've got if there's 20 of you and 19 of them are blind, you're the winner. You become the king.
Some of these guys are just phenomenal. They travel all over the world. They get some unbelievable captures.
Yeah. So,
they're good.
Yeah. So every week you pick up a photo that you shot maybe 20 years ago, and you take it over there, and you show it to them, and they go, "Ooh, that's really nice."
Well, I went out whale watching, shooting photos, not this Sunday, but the last Sunday. And, I got a bunch of photos from that. Breaches of, full breaches of humpback whales. And I'm just, I'm working on them.
Yeah, if I went back to my photo days and showed you some of those pictures, I could beat the shit out of you.
Well, according to my cardiologist that I have to see on Monday.
Oh, here we go.
You could probably beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. They didn't tell me what the results were. They want me to see a cardiologist. So maybe the guy's chicken to talk to me.
Wait a minute. They're your results.
I know. Well,
you're entitled to have them.
Yeah. Well, maybe they want a cardiologist to explain it to me.
Yes, SG. What are you making those fingers for?
Giving him good vibes.
Good vibes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wish Phil the best, because, in spite of the fact that I disagree with everything he says and consider him to be the most despicable person I've ever known, he is my friend.
Yeah. Hey, they opened up, didn't they, they opened up a detention home for those kids in Harlem.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Have you visited it yet? You said Melania didn't visit fast enough. Have you visited the one that's in your own backyard?
You mean the one where they beat up the kids and everything?
Well, you get a chance to do it, too, if you donate to de Blasio.
I see.
De Blasio says that he didn't even know it was there. But that's not unusual for de Blasio. He doesn't know anything.
Well, this is all HSH stuff, and he might not have known. I would agree with that. And it's not one of those places housing like thousands, it's like a handful of people. So.
I don't know how many. I thought it was 200.
They've got these kids scattered all over the country. How they're ever going to reunite them with their parents, I have no idea.
Very simple. Very simple. When you arrest somebody, you write a report.
Mm-hmm.
That report says, where they're taking the detainee.
Now, this is under ideal circumstances, are we not?
No, it's not ideal. You either do the job or you don't do the job.
But wait a minute. Now we're talking about you either do the job or you don't do the job. How many people don't really do the job they're supposed to be doing?
I don't know that many cops because there are so many.
It's not a matter of cops. It's just a matter of they've already said that they don't know how they're going to get all these parents together with their kids because they're scattered all over the country.
Yeah. What about the 4,000 that they lost under Obama? Because Obama separated and had kids that were not with adults.
Where did you hear this?
Yeah, it's just common news.
No, it isn't common news. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, they said.
I think I went over to Newsmax and somebody was saying that.
Well, I don't get Newsmax, but it's news. You can look at it. You can look further for the unaccompanied kids that they've lost track of.
Well, blame it on Obama. Go ahead.
Of course,
blame it on Obama.
How about Charles Krauthammer?
Yeah, I just mentioned him a while back.
Yeah, he was a cripple.
That's a nice way of putting it, Phil.
He actually started out as a liberal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was an editor for the New Republic, I believe. And he, what he did was, he was an athlete, and he was accepted to Harvard Medical School. And then he went to Oxford, and then his parents wanted him to be a doctor. So he said, okay, I'm going to sort of do what I really want to do and be a psychiatrist, which is sort of not hard medical. And so he graduated on time with being paralyzed from the neck down.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was a speechwriter for Walter Mondale.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the New Republic magazine. And then when he saw Ronald Reagan, he said, you know what? I agree with that. I agree with that. And it took him about a decade. And then he said, you know what? Because he didn't originally agree with tax cuts. He didn't originally agree with a lot of the stuff. But then he became the person for almost 25 years to be the just right of center voice of conservatism.
Yeah, he was not really right. He was slightly to the right. And in fact, at Fox, he was almost the lone Trump detractor at Fox when it came to commentary.
Definitely. Definitely, yeah. He's right next to Brett Baer. He's in fact, they're saying maybe we could, take that chair and make it something that no one else can sit in that chair.
Right.
But
now, wasn't he on that show that the guy died? He used to say bye bye. What was the name of that?
Oh, that was
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
He was not on McLaughlin.
He wasn't?
No. He was not on McLaughlin.
By the way, we have turn yourself sideways there, Ray.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. Okay. Yeah. We have another remote with Ray. Ray phones his show in from a location every time.
Because I'm sitting here listening, and I just heard this bullshit about how Obama was separating kids from their parents.
Yeah. That bullshit.
It is bullshit. Here's what happens. If they came in and they didn't know who the parents were, they were separated because they were just separated because the kids came in wandering on their own, or if there was some consideration that possibly the parents were not actually their parents and they were impostering parents, and they would separate them. And it happened like once every 6 months.
No, there was over.
I mean, this is just a Republican talking point.
Where do you get the number of 4,000, Phil?
From the same place I got the information.
Okay, but we really can't look up your ass. So why don't you pull the facts out and read them to us?
Although we'd like to.
I mean, I have not heard anything about 4,000. You've got a president who is currently supplying the world with a lot of disinformation, and I think even SG, who is to the right, would agree that Trump has a tendency to, shall we say, stretch the truth.
I mean, if Obama
lying. You mean like the videos of both Bill Clinton and both Obama saying we need to stop immigration.
I don't think they didn't say stop immigration. There was
we need to. We are a country of laws. This is both what they said, and I can send you the.
No. I know what they said, but it was referring to the fact that there were a lot of illegals crossing across the border. It was getting to be a real problem, and something had to be done.
Then Chuck Schumer, he voted for for the wall back then.
No. Well, here's what happened. He had a meeting with Trump, and he said, we might help you with the wall if you will give us DACA. And Trump did nothing about it, so Schumer isn't giving him the wall. That's all. It was a deal that didn't happen. Here comes Phil with some. He went somewhere and found his fact.
SG, you're going to have to take a drink. Charles McLaughlin, Kraudheimer was on the McLaughlin group, and along with Pat Buchanan, Eleanor Clift, Tony Blankley,
wrong!
Lawrence O'Donnell, John McLaughlin, Fred Barnes, Morton Kondracki, and Charles Kraudheimer.
Oh.
Well, they weren't all on at the same time. You named way too many.
They don't have to be on at the same time.
No, they had 4 people, and then McLaughlin, and those were some of the people that were always in the chairs.
Kraudheimer was also on it.
Yeah. Yes. Wait a minute. Ray, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I want to say something. I want to try to be calm instead of blowing a head gasket like I usually do.
I know.
It's like Okay, so you say to Republicans, Trump is holding 4,000 kids. Okay, then they realize then they say Obama did the same thing. Then they realize that that's not true. So then they switch to, oh, but we have video of Clinton and Obama saying we need to control immigration. Of course, but every president's always said that. We were talking about the kids, and then they switch the subject to something else. I mean, it's like this. It's this weird psychological thing that drives me insane, and I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't understand this kind of thinking. Am I the only? Am I?
Yes, you're the only one.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you guys are all geniuses, like I said.
I mean, you have.
Fucking geniuses.
Well,
here it is.
No, gee, here we go.
Federal agencies lost track of 1,500 migrant children.
Now what's the key word there?
Lost track.
Lost track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not saying they took 1,500 kids and they put them in a gulag somewhere. They lost track of them.
Okay,
say that. Jeez,
wait a minute.
Words in my mouth.
When they take these kids to these facilities, let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
These kids, for the first time, are shown hygiene.
Oh, come on.
God.
Come on, SG. Oh, God, give me strength.
Have you ever been to Mexico?
They've been in the desert for a month.
Yeah.
First of all, they're coming from Central America.
Where nobody. By the way, let's remember in Central America, it is a known fact nobody takes baths. Go ahead.
No, but I'm saying
they haven't gone to the bathroom yet.
For the first time, look, you know why I have this hat on?
That's where the kids are?
I grew up 5 miles from the border.
Oh.
And you know what?
Canada?
I had in my back over the fence where I lived, we had illegals who were brought by taxis, put in a dumpster because that was their first
Wait a minute, hold on a second, SG. Ray, can you mute yourself? I think we're getting some noise from you.
Freeway, sorry.
Yeah, he's walking under a freeway.
And put your hands in your pocket.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, SG. I was just trying to make it because then you...
These folks who we would see being put in a dumpster, that was their first point of contact. Then someone else would pick them up to take them somewhere else. So my point is this, that, I mean, I lived in Chula Vista, which is, we called it Chulawana, and just as a joke, there are networks that anyone who thinks that these people are naive, that they come over, that all of a sudden that, they're being separated and everyone's having, they all know this. They are not stupid. They are in their network. They're shown where to go, and there are 328 custom points of entry where these people can do this legally. 328. Did you know that?
No.
Yes. So there are 328.
And because I don't know it, I'm not going to take your word for it.
All along the border, and in different points of 328 ways to come in here legally.
Okay. So what's the point?
The point is we need to be respectful of the children.
Mm-hmm.
We need to let everyone know that this is not like everyone's. The point is, how can we stop the immigration coming in that we have coming in? Because there's a lot of points that are great on both sides, but we need to stop the politics. That's my point.
Well, my question to you is, one of the ways, I guess, our ability to stop this immigration is to stop the reason for the immigration, and we can't do that. That's up to other countries. What we're doing is we're getting a problem because of the fact that other countries aren't taking care of the problem. People are leaving those parts of the world because they're fearing for their lives, for their safety, and everything else, because the countries they're in are doing nothing about it. But nevertheless, we are America, and we have always been.
The other thing is, Alex, when people come here, we are actually protecting the children. Yeah. Because a lot of the people that come here are not related to.
Well,
the
this
children.
is not. But we're not protecting the children. In
Well,
fact,
no,
we're
listen, if you would just listen, if you would listen for a second.
By the way, Phil has his hand up and wants to get. Phil, wait, hold on a second. Phil,
protecting the children. Because those people, a lot of them are coyotes. A lot of them are not related. A lot of them are in for certain. And they know where the points
SG.
They know where the points
SG,
of
I have to stop you there.
If you have this deal, you're assuming that these people are
SG. When I want to talk, please let me talk. You are intimating that there are tons of coyotes, and the fact is, there's a handful of coyotes. You know. Who are taking these people and smuggling them into the United States. That's what these people are paying them, like sometimes $5,000 for.
Let's protect the handful.
Yeah. Well, and now Phil has his glove on, which means we're going to get a rectal exam from Phil. So go ahead with your rectal exam, Phil.
According to Wikipedia, there's 48 places where people can legally cross the Mexico-United States border.
Yeah. And they're using those. A lot of them are coming across the bridges there, and they've been on those bridges for 3, 4, 5 days at a time, waiting to talk to somebody who will talk to them about asylum. It's not like they're all coming across illegally. You know, a lot of them are trying to come across legally. No, look.
Hey, Alex, you want a solution?
What?
I have a solution, and I sent this to Ted Cruz. So they want to get a bunch of judges who will adjudicate these people, right?
Yeah.
They want to hire, right?
Right.
So I'm saying, instead of doing that, who are you going to hire? Why not go through all the judges in the U.S. and say, can you devote 1 hour or one whatever to this and do it online? We call it the online immigration adjudication program, where current judges, so when an illegal comes in, they can see, instead of having a judge, it will be a TV set, and it'll be like Skype. And the thing is, my daughter does this through Harvard now. She has a deal
and what do we do about the translation part of it?
Well, you have people who are there able to translate.
Yeah.
So then the thing of it is, my daughter does this through Harvard, and the Harvard professor sees all these people on a wall just with screens in their faces. Mm-hmm. So instead of having to do that, all of a sudden you bring these people, and then you adjudicate all these people. So I've given you the solution, Alex.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's a solution.
You can bring that to Trump, and you'll be a hero.
Oh yeah, like he'll listen to me. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
What are you eating?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Oh. You know, you keep doing that, and you're going to turn into a big blimp.
To a certain extent, I already am.
Yeah, right. You had your hand up there, Jeff. Did you want to say something?
I guess I need a break. I'll pass right now.
Oh, you'll pass right now? Okay, well, anytime you want to join in. Yes, Phil. What other new fact do you have, Phil?
Me?
Yeah.
Why? I was was answering a page.
You're answering a page. Oh.
Well, a message.
Oh, somebody needs flooring?
Yeah. Emergency fluorectomy.
Really? So I didn't hear from my doctor today, so I would imagine he probably got the results back, so he'll probably just mail them to me, and I guess there was nothing terrible in them.
Well, if somebody needs flooring from you, be sure to wear protection and to show them a shot of your entire body before going.
Really. No, this is... my doctor gets back to me. I said, they were supposed to tell me the results of the test. Well, it's been 2 days. What the fuck is the results? Well, so he refers me to a cardiologist who will tell me the results of the test. I need that like I need a hole in the head.
Well, you'd like some kind of an answer. Like, hey, we saw something that's suspicious. We want you to see a cardiologist.
Yeah, so they send me a thing to choose a cardiologist and make an appointment online.
Oh, I see. And then it'll be like 3 months from now when you get the appointment.
Monday.
And by then you'll have the heart attack.
Yeah, I made it for Monday.
Yes, Ray.
Yeah, hey, Alex, I heard you talking about the gabapentin problem.
Yeah.
So I had a really bad nerve damage in my neck, and so they gave me gabapentin, and it made me worse. Too, like that. I was in total pain, like dying.
Yeah, it made my feet worse. Yeah.
Yeah, so I called, and they said, okay, stop taking it. I'm going to give you a prescription for Lyrica. If one doesn't work, the other one usually does. And they gave me the Lyrica, and within a day, it was like a miracle.
Okay,
I felt
so it's probably
like 80% better.
So probably Lyrica will probably be the answer here.
Yeah, and they usually do gabapentin first because it's cheaper.
Yeah. Did it make you feel drowsy, by the way, the Lyrica? Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah, yes, it did. The Lyrica made me drowsy. In fact, I was in a show at the time, and it was a play where we all had to be on stage the whole show, and I kept falling asleep in my chair on stage while the show was going on. And I've never worked there since, and I think that's probably why.
I think they tell you. I think they tell you.
I stopped the Lyrica.
I think but I think they tell you to take things like Lyrica before you go to sleep. That's the best time to do it.
Sleepy. I was fine until I didn't feel sleepy until I sat down or something. Like if I sat down, I'd suddenly fall asleep. I couldn't keep my eyes.
Well, there's nothing worse than an actor in a play falling asleep on stage.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. So I stopped taking it.
Ray?
I stopped taking it. I was fine, and then
Ray?
I don't sleep anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you have sleep apnea?
I do.
Before I started using the machine, I was falling asleep at stop signs.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. At a 20
or I'd have to pull over every 20 minutes
home,
and take a nap. Yeah.
I have to pull over halfway and nap.
Me too. Me too.
So
every half hour I would nap if I was driving.
Yeah. So the machine.
Me too. New mood. Me too.
You know what I love about doing this show? I'm a hypochondriac, and I worry that everything I'm getting is going to kill me. And when I hear you guys, I kind of realize that I'm really in pretty good shape.
Yeah, you are.
You know,
you are.
My heart's okay. My heart's okay. I don't know. Knock on wood, the prostate is probably okay. I mean, Phil with his prostate problem. Of course, we got Jeff with the ticker stuff. We got Brian. Well, Brian's just sick on his own. Ray has all these little things. Me, I got
a whole bunch of shit.
I have a torn meniscus. You know, I mean, come on.
I had mine operated out.
Yeah, you
I went to a knee surgeon today, and he said I just have to live with it because it's not bad enough to get a knee replacement.
Oh, okay. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Ray, I think maybe the reason you were falling asleep might have been the apnea.
No. I was already treated for apnea for years before that. It was the Lyrica.
Yeah,
absolutely the Lyrica. As soon as I stopped, that was only 1 week, and I said, okay, I got to stop this thing. My shoulder's better. I stopped it. It was gone. I wasn't falling asleep on stage anymore. I mean, I wasn't completely out. It's just that my eyes.
Come on, are there any other people out there? We could use a blind person calling tonight, and we, of course,
that'd be great.
If we could get Patrick to call, he's in a wheelchair, and
we got you for crazy.
I'm not crazy. I'm not nuts.
Oh, you're a liberal.
Yeah, I'm a liberal. I'm not a liberal to begin with. Remember that always.
Oh, okay. So you'll pull the liberal card.
I'm a leftist. I'm not a liberal. I hate liberals.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know what to do.
I always used to say that on Sirius, and I think that's why I'm not there anymore. It's because I kept saying I hate liberals because liberals are it's like Phil Oakes said, they're 10 degrees to the right, left in good times, and 10 degrees to the right when it affects them personally.
Alex, you and people like Jimmy Dore are the reason why you're not on.
Huh?
You and people like Jimmy Dore are not are the reason. That's the reason. What you just said.
Who's
there.
Jimmy Dore?
I must have it on him.
Jimmy Dore show on YouTube.
I've never watched it. Yeah. Never heard of him.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him.
Sorry about that. I have this stupid thing on my thing that makes pictures. Okay. All right.
Oh, was that it? All
right. Oh, why? Did you just send us a picture? Let's see here. Did he send a picture? I can show it to the audience.
I sent 2 pictures of yourself. I mean, it's nothing. It's just you guys sitting there. I mean,
oh, wait a minute. Here we go. There we go. See all those pictures? There's how'd you do that?
Well, there's a little. I was trying to turn the camera around, but on Skype on the phone, there's a little thing that looks like it's going to turn around, but it's actually a snapshot taker.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go. We have pictures of everybody there. So,
yeah.
If people want to send us pictures, I can show them.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, there we're walking down the street.
This is not
no
this
dog
is not
today.
One I submitted, but because I recropped the one I submitted.
Yeah.
So this is the Willie Brown Bridge.
Yeah.
With a super moon above it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it took first.
Yeah. Where? At the postcard convention?
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, I got to join your club so I can kick your ass.
Yeah, well, I wish somebody would try to kick my ass. I'm in basic.
Send me the information. We can have. Just let me know what it is. I'll join.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
So did you see the picture I showed earlier of Melania Trump?
Yeah. Well, I saw it in the news.
Yeah. What is that all about?
It was a stupid jacket, and her handlers should have said something.
I mean, to have and let me show the audience. You guys won't be able to see it, but this was the picture I showed earlier. There is on the right-hand side, that's the fashion photographer picture of the jacket. And there's Melania wearing it going up the Air Force One. And it reads, "I really don't care. Do you?" And she was off to see these kids in the what do you call it? The deal.
Yeah, the home.
The
halfway house.
Yeah, and what possessed her to do that?
That was a stupid move.
Okay, I'm glad you agree.
I mean, Alex, look at the way you're dressed. I mean, come on.
What do you mean? How am I dressed?
What?
I'm advertising a tennis match.
I mean, huh? Yeah, I'm advertising a tennis match. That's it. I could wear my Obama as a Chinese soldier shirt if you'd like me to.
Yeah. Tony gave me this.
I can change hats. Hold on a second. I can change hats here. By the way, I'm wearing shorts tonight because it's been hot in New York City. There we go. Wait a minute. Hold on. Here we go. This I bought in China. I bought this in China too. Love this. This is my favorite cap. Wait a minute. Where did SG go? I wanted him to see my cap. Oh.
You know what I was thinking about Melania?
Yeah.
Is maybe it was her little message to say that she's like being held captive and she doesn't want to be doing this, and it's like her little message to the world, like, help me.
Well, I'm not the only.
Making me go to Mexico.
Okay, what's your? Wait a minute. Yes, Brian. What, Brian?
I'm just saying, maybe Ray just touched on something. I mean, he was being hyperbolic and silly about it, but I think more seriously, she may be trying to sabotage her husband. She may hate him on account of the fact that she has to sleep. He has slept next to him, and it's had him.
Well, reusing a joke I did for somebody else. I don't know how Melania kisses that guy without vomiting in his mouth.
Vomiting.
Yeah. Oh, now you're wearing a Trump shirt, okay, SG. See the hat I'm wearing? This is an official Red Army hat.
No, it's a French hat.
Well,
because
no, this is a Chinese Army cap that I'm wearing. I love this cap. I just don't wear it out because I don't know that I might not have some Chinese people who will attack me on the street for wearing it.
They'll run you over with a tank.
They'll run me over with a tank, right. Tiananmen style.
Yeah. Well, what are they used to call it, gangman style or something?
No, that's South Korean.
Yeah.
That's South Korean.
This is Tiananmen style.
No, but no. If you've ever been in Tiananmen Square, that's one big fucking square. You supposedly can see it from space. That's how big it is.
I've been to Plaza San Marco.
Nothing like the size of Tiananmen Square. And on one side of it is the People's Congress.
Yeah. And
on the other side of it is where Mao is entombed. And I went and I saw him. They got him stuffed, you know.
Captain. Hey.
Backwards, but this is for Phil.
America. Yeah.
America.
Hey, talking about the Italians. Talking about the Italians, Renati. They just pushed away 2 boatloads of migrants from Africa, and they wouldn't let the boats land in Italy.
Where in Italy? What part of Italy?
Italy.
Must have been Sicily.
No, I don't know if it was Sicily. It was Italy.
Okay, well, whatever.
Boatloads
I'm
of
American.
Huh?
Oh, they're dicks then.
Well, they told them to, go through the Mexican border. The Americans will take it.
Yeah. No, we won't. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible that they did that. It sucks. I think it just sucks. It's planet Earth. People are trying to live. It's like we're lucky enough to be born. Those people are unlucky enough to have whatever situation, and they're fucked. And we say it. We dropped out of a vagina in the United States, and they didn't, so fucking bad for you.
Yeah. Well, no, we let plenty of people into this country. But the president wants to let them in on merit. He wants to...
For World War II, we let everybody in, unless there was... outside. That was all just everybody, unless they were...
You're breaking up on us, Ray. Ray, you're breaking up a bit because you're losing your... And then we lost your picture.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But there we go. There we go.
Italy says Spain should take the next 4 migrant boats. Italy's interior minister refuses to port migrant rescue ship. It doesn't say where they tried to land, but they're sending them off to Spain.
Well, wait a minute. Italy took a whole bunch of people, right?
Well, they're refusing these guys.
No, but they're asking some other country to do the job too. The biggest problem that we have with usually with this kind of thing in any country is the influx of people causes a strain on the economy.
Sure.
But I don't see that we've seen a big strain on the Trump is acting like all of a sudden there are these hordes of people coming over the border. Okay, even at its worst, it was never so bad that it was costing this country a fortune. It was.
I think it's up 75%.
What?
I thought I heard it was up 75%. over the last couple of years.
It actually at one point it went down. I think during the Obama administration. It's gone up since Trump started issuing the challenge.
I think it's
That's not true. Last year it went down. And then they decided that they knew what to say to come to the border, and now it's almost tripled.
Well, I'll tell you.
Don't say they.
What were you saying, Jeff? Go ahead.
Well, just don't say they all the time. I mean, you don't know who you're talking about.
What do you mean?
If you talk about a specific person or a group of people, describe them. Just say they. It doesn't mean much. It's like
all right. You know what? You're right. I agree with that. So
we don't know. We don't know.
Let me describe they, because I agree with you. Between 2011 and 2018, 250,000 people within the state of Texas have committed 650,000 crimes, and I've said this before, and Alex will remember it. And these are people who are incarcerated, have rapes, have murders, and these are real instances. And I can give the DHS for Texas all day long on this.
One thing about Alex, if he's like me, he can't remember anything.
Well, I would probably, if I had things at hand here, be able to probably dispute your claims, but I don't have the facts here to do that. But I think you're maybe overstating the case.
No,
look it up.
Yeah, you'll look it up, Phil. I don't trust you looking up anything because you will.
Unless it came from the Politburo, you wouldn't accept anything.
Are you implying that I like Putin? Are you implying that I like Putin?
I'm implying that
your president loves Putin.
That's who Trump.
Well, that's why you should like Trump. He likes your people.
Oh boy.
Well, for the last 50 years, you love those guys.
Loved what?
If the Russians did anything, you thought it was the best thing in the world.
Who says I love the Russians? Where did you ever get the fucking idea that I like the Russians?
You lefties love the commies.
The only thing is about the Russians is I think they're some of the loveliest women in the world until they get to be 50 and then they have a mustache.
Or until they open their mouths.
Listen, Russian women are hot.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You got to admit that.
They're smart.
Huh?
And they're smart.
Yeah. But, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, they are beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Brian, what else is new?
Not a whole hell of a lot. I mean, yesterday I didn't call in because I fell asleep at 5:30 and I had a system shutdown. I guess I fell asleep at 5:30 yesterday evening and I didn't wake up until 4:30 the following morning.
What about
light?
So yeah, but you found another job, so you're working.
Yeah.
Is it good pay?
Yeah, we'll find out.
What do you mean you'll find out?
When I get my first paycheck, when I see the denominations in hard print,
yeah,
and can cash the motherfucker in and actually get something.
I mean, the hourly wage is okay.
Well, it's what I was doing when I talked to you last was independent contract gig. However, it was an independent contract gig, so
they pay you by the deal.
In terms of how the pay scale is, although I am paid weekly.
Yeah.
That having been said, this coming Monday I'll be with a Class B trucking company, and it'll be a traditional 8-hour or more job, 40+ hours a week.
Good.
So you drive those big trucks?
That kind of thing. Huh? I'm sorry?
Those big trucks? Is that a Class B takes that?
Class B, yeah, straight trucks. I could drive. I could go in and refresh myself to drive tractor trailer, since I have a Class A. But I have no desire to do that any more than I have any desire to play with an extra pedal for my foot or a gear shifter for my hand when I'm being paid just the same amount driving an old.
So anyway,
that's not.
Hey, Alex, did you talk at all about the Roseanne show?
I mentioned it earlier that that they.
Oh, okay, you did. Now I remember.
Yeah, that they said it's going to be called the Connors, and I think here's how I'm making the bet they kill off Roseanne. It was built right into the last script.
Yeah. Yeah, the operation.
She had to go in for an operation on her knee, so all they have to say is, "It went." What is that on your shoulder?
You see that? Oh,
gee.
You got Barbie, you got Ken, you got Trump.
Anyway, just say that she went in the hospital to get the knee operation. Something went horribly wrong, and she died on the table. And now you got the Connors, and they're
and you know what went wrong? She had Obamacare.
Oh, stop it. She had Obamacare. At least she had something, you know. I mean, I listen. I got to tell you, I feel. Oh, look, folks, he's bald. I am so happy that I paid my dues all those years to AFTRA, which is my union. Because the deal I've got now, they as I say, they sent me this thing a year ago, and I didn't pay any attention to it. And then this year I paid attention, and I said, "What is this exactly?" And it turns out that because I've been a union member, and now I don't pay dues because I have senior status, all right, and I get the dues for free. I get to be part of their senior medical plan. They're, it takes care of the money that Medicare doesn't pay. And the price is Marjorie's business is paying for it. But even if they weren't paying for it, it's only like $2,000 a year, and it's the supplemental. And it is wonderful. And the prescription drugs, I'm paying less for 3 months worth of drugs than I was paying for 1 month of drugs. I mean,
how do they do that?
Huh? It's a company.
They do it, and nobody else can.
It's a company called Express Scripts that they went with. Express Scripts, it turns out, is the #1 prescription insurer in the country. And what they do is they buy in bulk, and then they ship you the medicine. Okay? Now, what they also do is they also do it through Walgreens. So a block away, I have a Walgreens community pharmacy, and I can go there and get it. And so they give me 3 months. I have to buy 3 months at a time. But the 3 months at a time is cheaper than the 1 month at a time that I was paying.
Of course.
And it's one of the few things in my life I'm delighted about at this point.
It says here, millions trust Express Scripts for safety 2017.
Well, that's a good question. Whether it's available.
I'll install the app, and
I don't think you can get it. You can subscribe to it, but it would cost you a lot more than I'm paying for just all my medicine. I'm paying for the insurance for the supplemental. I'm paying for the prescription, and I'm paying every 3 months. We pay $528. Okay, that's just more than the savings of what the prescriptions I'm saving money on. So. It's really pretty amazing, but I don't know. I think if you buy Express Scripts and you're not part of the union and so on, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot more, Phil.
Right.
But a lot of companies are doing this. We were with Oxford, and Oxford had a thing where you had to buy 3 months at a time and whatever, but we never checked into that because we didn't like the idea of having our drugs mailed to us, and because our mail service sucks so badly.
Well, it was just announced 2 or 3 days ago that people now will have the ability to have associations.
What do you mean associations?
Across state lines, within industries.
Yeah.
For healthcare, it was announced from the White House that people now will have the ability to combine groups within states or across lines if you're in the same industry.
What kind of groups? You mean like professions and so on?
Yeah, sure. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then be able to get the...
to negotiate, like, maybe not as good as you have.
Right.
But to negotiate prices based on a number of people who can now go and negotiate health prices.
But all I'm saying is that we had, like, through her job, we had Oxford, and her company was paying $21,000 a year for us to be insured, and we didn't get jack shit. You know, the prescriptions cost me, as I say, about $200 a month. Now they're costing me $200 every 3 months. Actually, $183 every 3 months.
What do you have? What prescriptions do you have?
It's called Express Scripts.
No, I mean, for what?
Oh, a lot of different things. You know, I don't want to go into all the stuff that I take. I take about...
Give us the nitty-gritty.
But no, I mean things like Cialis for not for a boner, but for prostate. I take a statin. I take a thing that helps the statin even work better. I have what is it? I have finasteride. I have let me see here. What else? I can't remember. A couple other things. You know. Oh yeah, a blood pressure pill. A thyroid pill, yeah. It's like 6 pills a month, yeah.
Wow.
Well, you know what happens? There was a time when I didn't take anything. And then all of a sudden, one thing goes wrong, and the doctor says, here, take this. It'll help you with your blood pressure, okay? Or it'll help you with your statins, right? You know, to help you with your cholesterol. And then they add another one. And then they add another one. Before you know it, you got 6. I'm doing pretty good. I think Girlfriend has more than I do.
Did you see that thing on OxyContin this morning? The company that makes OxyContin fired all of their salespeople, and they're being sued because it seems as though they were pushing doctors to prescribe higher and higher doses, and they were using advertising and techniques that were underhanded.
Are they going to stop having these really sexy women going to the doctor's offices to sell this stuff?
Yeah, something. And now they say that they're just going to...
have you ever sat in a waiting room and seen these salespeople come in, and the women with the short skirts?
Oh, they're all good looking,
yeah. Yep.
I used to work in a business that did that.
Yeah, and
they had good-looking women and good-looking men.
Yeah,
were all the salespeople.
I kind of like the men.
You know what used to happen? They used to give out, samples, and I had one doctor that when I was taking an antidepressant called what was it? I can't remember. It's a blue pill. I can't remember.
Why were you depressed?
Oh, fuck you! I'm depressed all the time.
Why are you
Zoloft?
Zoloft. He would collect all the Zoloft samples. He would collect all.
Why are you depressed?
Wait a minute. He would collect all the Zoloft samples and give me like 3 months worth when I go to see him. And also he says, and by the way, here's a Zoloft pen, here's a Zoloft calendar, here's a all this Zoloft pot holders, you know.
Why are you depressed? You got like, look at the beautiful people who are.
You get asked the same question. Why did the chef, what's his name, commit suicide? Bourdain. Why did he commit suicide? God, he had the best job in the world. He had to travel to every country in the world, eating the best food in the world. What did he have to be depressed about? Doesn't matter if you're depressed. You're fucking depressed, okay?
No, why? But why?
But why?
After he killed himself, we're all supposed to gravitate to people like you and ask you why.
Why? The answer is
on antidepressants.
The answer is because I have to talk to Phil every 4 nights a week. Now, does anybody blame me?
No. Well, that's a good reason. Yeah.
You know, but all I'm saying is, you know, I mean, one of the things I'll tell you, there are 2 things that we really have to do in this country to improve things medically. Number 1, it should be single payer. I mean, and especially when people are over the age of 65, and you know, you're going to start getting having to see a doctor more and more. The idea that Medicare only takes care of 20%, 80%, and that the other 20% has to come from somewhere else. So you go to a normal insurer and you buy supplemental insurance, which then runs you something like $300 a month. Is wrong. I think that after all those years of working hard and paying taxes and paying in to the Social Security system and so on, that really you should be getting taken care of 100%.
Now I know why you're depressed, because I'm depressed.
Why are you depressed? I mean, you don't think that older people should be 100% taken care of medically?
You know, I'm from the Alaska, thing.
What do you mean the Alaska thing? What is, if you're sick, you freeze to death?
Leave them out for the polar bears.
Huh?
Leave them out for the polar bears.
Oh, I see. Okay, you float them out into an iceberg.
It's a joke.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I would not be
I think the polar bears, they were kind of like sharks. They just take a bite and say they don't like humans.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you, the polar bear is probably the most vicious animal on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
On the planet.
Absolutely.
Guys who live in that part of the world carry rifles with them everywhere in case they get attacked by a polar bear, because those bears are... They are the nastiest motherfuckers alive, and everybody loves them. You know, they're on Klondike bars. You know,
even more so than grizzlies.
And when you've got a cartoon bears, usually the polar bear is the nicest one. He's the happiest one. You know, but believe me, polar bears are vicious, just vicious, so. You know, grizzly bear, black bears come a close second on that, but polar bears are maybe that. And you know what the other
polar bears are going to eat you.
Do you know what the other most dangerous animal is on the planet? I mean, this is weird.
Elephant.
Human.
No,
hippopotamuses.
Yeah, hippopotami. Yeah, they're dangerous as shit. Yeah.
Great white sharks.
Oh, did you hear about those guys who were that the cougar took the guy? They're mountain biking, and the cougar pranced on the guy and took out one of there were 2 of these guys, and the cougar, the mountain lion, and this is in Oregon, I think. He took out the guy, and then he had his jaws around the guy, but then his buddies started taking off, and the mountain lion started taking off toward the buddy, and ended up killing the buddy. But the guy who his jaws were around the skull ended up escaping and living.
Well, I had a problem with the cougar once, but she wouldn't stop calling me over and over and over again. But then I got older and she didn't care anymore.
Don't they say that if you're attacked by a bear, you just have to run faster than your friend?
Right. But and the thing of this, then I looked it up and I thought, well, mountain lions run 30 to 40 miles an hour. And you could mountain bike, you're going to do, what, 15 miles an hour? Maybe 20.
Mountain bike...
Yeah. Where Ray lives, they have mountain lion sightings all the time in Palo Alto, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep, they do. Yeah. I've had them right near my house.
When I
used to the freeway,
I used to do work occasionally at Skywalker Ranch, which is out in the back hills of Marin County. I would go out there to do voiceovers or whatever. Sometimes I just knew people there and went to lunch. And there was a mountain lion on the property who lived on the property. that they knew was up there. Nobody ever touched him. He never attacked anybody or whatever. But there was the Skywalker Ranch mountain lion. So, you know.
Kept on hearing all
and
the other.
in Hollywood, if you stay up in the hills of Hollywood, every night you'll hear the coyotes.
And the cougars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but again, they keep calling me. Yes, Jeff, you had your hand up.
Yeah, my mother-in-law lives close to where we are, and she loves to have birds and stuff like that. So she goes and buys this bird holder to give little birds all fed with a bird feeder, and she hangs it up, and it's right at the part of the season when all of a sudden the bears come out, and they go right in there. They knock the thing down, and they start eating everything. And she's out there yelling at them, "Get away from me! I just paid $200 for that."
David Letterman loves to tell the story about how he has a home in Montana, and he walked in the house one day, and there was a bear in the house.
Yeah.
You know, and bears. The trouble with bears today is that no matter where you live, they become so unafraid of human beings.
Right.
You know, that they'll
Probably
be in your
just
house
opening
and
the
you go, "Get the
refrigerator."
hell out of here," and it's not like they go running. It's like they sit there and look at you like, "Fuck you," so you better leave the
That
house.
guy, they used to have a show, Jim from Canada.
Yeah.
Didn't he always have bears coming up to his house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very common. But he lives in buttfuck Canada, you know.
Yeah.
And nature, in many places, nature is predominant. You know,
Yeah.
you're simply living amongst them. You know. So
There are towns in Alaska where the bears are like raccoons, just roaming the streets.
Really?
I saw it on 60 Minutes or something like that. It's ridiculous.
And the elk, those big moose, they look like reindeer. They just walk around. They're monsters.
Yeah. We don't have anything here in Harlem because who can possibly live here? You know?
Well, there was a guy in Harlem who had a tiger in his apartment. Remember that guy?
No.
Like 10 years ago?
No.
I think 10, 15 years ago, they found a guy in Harlem who had a tiger in his apartment, a full-grown tiger.
Did he end up in the stomach?
No, somebody reported him and they took the tiger away. I don't know.
You're not allowed to do that. It's just, you know.
No, I know.
So, well, let's see here. We got about 25 minutes left. What should we talk about?
Hey, I just looked up the most dangerous animal to humans. You'll never guess what it is.
Trump?
Talk show host.
Other than Trump. Mosquitoes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
725,000 people a year are killed by mosquitoes.
Thank God.
Oh, my God.
725,000
people are killed each year by mosquito-borne diseases.
Thank you, Obama.
In the areas of the world.
Doesn't matter.
You know that they have.
Dengue fever, yellow fever, encephalitis, and other diseases.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, they're bloodborne. I guess they're spread by mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Where does Gabnet rank on that list?
It's number 6. Right below the black mamba.
That's why we don't have any listeners. They tune us in and they die.
No, that's probably what's going to happen to your panel.
Well, you know, I mean,
I'll find out on Monday.
Oh, really? Look, all I'm saying is maybe you got something wrong with the ticker. Okay?
Yeah.
Look at Jeff. He's a walking biological experiment, for crying out loud. Right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
You know,
whatever I need, I have the surgery anyway.
You had a valve, an aortic valve put in, right?
I have 2 of them, one on top of the other.
Really? Just in case the other one runs out?
No, it's the latest way of putting on another one, which is what I had.
Yeah.
They put it in through a catheter, and they expand it inside, and it's like a little balloon.
Yeah.
Boom! It's open, and it's right on top of the other.
And
one.
I got to tell you, for a guy who's had ticker problems, you're one of the healthy.
Yeah.
You look very healthy.
Yeah, he sails. He has a good time.
Yeah.
I know that. This is the best thing.
You know,
I look at anybody here, and I recommend if you got an opportunity to see a cardiologist, go see him.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Sure.
I'm very fortunate in that my primary physician is a cardiologist.
There you go.
So I mean that's his main deal, and he knows his business. You know, so.
Did he tell you have heart or not?
Well, he said I'm sound as the dollar. That's the old joke, right? Yeah. No, that I'm okay. You know, that way I'm not. I don't think my heart's going to be the thing to go. But I told him, I said to him the other day. I said, I'm a hypochondriac. I said, and the problem is, I know something's going to get me someday, but I don't know what it's going to be. So I keep waiting to come in one year, and you're going to see the test come back, and you go, we need to talk, you know, and then I will find out what it is that's going to get me. And
you know, you'd be the perfect guy to give placebo pills to, and you know, and then tell you they're working.
Right.
Well, you know, I mean,
This will help you out.
Yeah, and they're on sale.
The only thing I want is something that's going to make my feet not be numb anymore because they hurt a lot.
Chiropractor, that's what'll do it.
No, fuck chiropractic.
Hey, you know, ask Ray. He knows the benefit of chiropractic.
I don't know that it's going to help his feet.
Sure, a sciatic nerve.
It isn't.
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
Who died and made you? What school did you go to? Medical school.
Hey, I had a roommate that was a chiropractor.
That you know that it's my sciatic nerve. I think
you told me it was.
No, I didn't. It could be. This could be a compressed nerve. You know.
Well, yeah, and the sciatic one.
But neuropathy in your feet can be caused by many different things.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a compressed nerve. It could be sciatica. It could be. Tons of things.
You're a baby.
It could be, you know, listening to Jack Bishop's show. It could be anything could cause it.
That's right. You could drop dead just, you know, listening to me rant and rave.
Yeah. You're overmodulating
you
a little
don't
bit
rant
there.
and rave.
Am I overmodulating?
Yeah, turn it down a little bit. Yeah.
How's that? Is that better?
That's better, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to say to Phil, look, you know, take it from another heart patient.
Come on.
Don't worry about this stuff. If they're catching it early enough, you'll be okay.
They'll crack you open like an oyster. They'll leave a zipper, and you're, you know.
My buddy comes into the store yesterday. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I told him about this issue I'm having. He said I was in Mexico a few months ago. He says I walked up a flight of stairs and I didn't feel good, so I went to the emergency room. And he said they quadruple bypass.
That's what I'm walking around with a quad.
Letterman.
And you know,
no pain, no symptoms, no nothing, just short of breath.
I didn't have pain nor symptoms. I wasn't even short of breath. Ever since I moved to Texas, I've had allergies. And one night, 8 years ago, my allergies flared up, and I just couldn't. I could breathe, but I was just so congested. I decided to go over to the emergency room and get a steroid injection to take care of that. And they get to rooting around, and they come into the room and say, "Hey, pal, either you have just had a heart attack, or you're about to have a heart attack." Next thing I know, I got a quad bypass when I walk out of the hospital a week and a half later.
Wow.
And a zipper, right?
Oh, I got a hell of a zipper. You know,
really?
We folks we keloid, and so I got a zipper wide enough to move the Santa Fe on.
Yeah, yeah. For some reason, you're distorting, and I don't know why.
Well, I don't know why either, because I'm not even getting barely a flicker.
Yeah. Back off of your microphone just a little bit when you're talking.
He's clear. He's coming in clear to me, so it must be you.
It's probably me. Yeah, it's my hearing's going or something. It's
Well,
cancer of the ear, I think, is what it is.
Well, this has been weird. This has been a weird week for everything that I've done on GabNet as far as levels and things. Last night, everything was low.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a little bit overmodulated to me and distorting a little bit.
Well, let me adjust that. How's
Do you
that?
know your show, Jack, has a crackle in your microphone?
Your gigahertz is less than your megahertz.
It's not in my microphone because I do another.
It's in something that it's consistent on your show.
It does not show up on the other internet program that I do.
No,
I'm two-timing on you, Alex.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Are you really?
Do you have a short somewhere? Or?
Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't show up on the other program that I do. I have no idea what it is. I've spent.
Have you listened to the recording? And you hear it?
Well, Phil, I have listened to the recording. To me, it's not there. But then again, I do another daily show of a sort for another service, and it doesn't show up at all there.
You cheat on Alex?
Well,
hey, it doesn't show up here either.
No.
What am I not paying you enough?
Well, we had that discussion last night on the intersection about the value of GabNet bucks, and I had talked to my investment counselor, and he says, "What are they giving you?" And I said, and I told him what they were giving me. He says, "Oh, gee, if they're paying you in GabNet bucks, you can replace the Charmin in your bathroom and get ahead on that."
Well, you know what's great about
Charmin's expensive.
Actually, we're right up there with Bitcoin. Okay, so
you could do a cryptocurrency thing, GabNet.
Yeah, it's not Bitcoin; it's BitO'Honey.
Yeah,
That was good, Phil. That was good.
Yeah.
No, and also I've got a third part-time job where I stand on a corner in my hometown with a spray bottle and some paper towels. That's where I really get ahead.
Yeah, that's where you get ahead.
And a squeegee.
No, so what?
I hope to be able to.
What is the other show you do so we can go listen to it?
Jesus H Christ! And
what's it called?
Responsible Hebrews. I do a blues music program for a guy that I used to work with more than 50 years ago, before I even went to Houston, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
And I do an hour a day for him, and it's somebody gonna play the blues. Careful there, Ray. Don't do anything that'll get us in copyright.
Have you thought about a career in advertising? They got those guys that spin those signs out on the corner.
Yeah.
Here's
an idea. Can you adjust?
I wouldn't want to do it in Texas in the summertime.
Wait a minute. Can you adjust the bass and the treble on your microphone?
I can.
It's all about the
turn
bass,
up the treble and down the turn down the bass a little bit.
See, all right, all about the bass, not
down
the
the bass.
Yeah, now it's much better.
Oh, okay. I see what the problem was.
Oh, now I hear you better.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's fine. He's fine. Well, he's doing a blues show, so it's not a talk show. So
no. And what happened was, I'm running out of surface area for things, so I set my keyboard up on top of my board, and when I did that, I guess I bumped something.
Oh, because now it's sounding much better.
Well, good. It won't sound better here in 15 minutes, of course, when the show actually starts.
So Melania visited your fine state today, did she?
Yes, and a good time was had by all.
Yeah. Well, you know something? I mean, she is not an unpleasant person.
And she certainly has done more as far as this issue down there than the president has done.
Well, just showing up is...
Just showing up, yeah.
You know.
Well, her thing is kids.
What I loved was he's always got to send her off to places he knows he can't show up. And one of them, for instance, was the Barbara Bush funeral. Because he didn't want to be there because Trump, because Clinton would be there, Bush would be there, Obama would be there. 3 presidents who all...
Presidents usually don't attend First Lady funerals.
What?
Well, the
Is
others...
he like an entertainment person, or is he the president? Come on.
Well, I think he's an entertainment person.
I mean, no, he can't go everywhere. And then people say, here's the thing. The next thing people will say, too little, too late.
Yeah. Anyway,
you'll hear that on everything.
Brian,
too little. Listen to me. Whatever it is, people will say too little, too late. I don't care what it is.
Brian had his hand up. Yes, Brian.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you were saying that talking about Melania being a very pleasant person, and that she's one up to Donald Trump in terms of personality and charisma. Well, I was just going to say, or doing one over on him, I was just going to say an anthropomorphic sentient dog turd could one up Trump.
Yeah. I'll tell you something, and this is very interesting. She actually has a higher approval rating than Donald.
Not surprised.
You know,
but John Dillinger has a higher approval rating.
Yeah. And he's dead.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean...
My left testicle would probably have a higher approval rating than that.
Well,
he's got a 44% approval rating right now. And it was at like 47 until this kid thing happened. And it'll go back up.
Why?
Why? Because he's doing a lot of things that are good for the economy.
It's still the lowest in recent history for a president.
You know, we had 4% growth this year.
Phil, and that 4% growth went into whose pocket?
Oh, it went into Alex's pocket.
Well, none of it went into mine to speak of. None of it went into the pockets of folks working at big box stores making
black unemployment is at the lowest level.
That's a damn lie.
Black unemployment is at the lowest level.
That is a damn lie.
And no, you're working 2 jobs.
They have always undercounted black unemployment.
You just told me you got a blues show.
Hey, and I'm getting the same kind of money, only in what's called
blues bucks,
RMC classic soul bucks.
A patriot.
Black unemployment has always been undercounted in this country since the 1950s.
Yeah.
I'm serious, Phil. I should know more about this than you do. I've been black longer than you have.
He should know more because he's black, Phil.
Why?
Not because he's informed.
Jewish?
Yeah.
I used to know. I go back so far with Irv that I know him when he was a Negro.
That's right. He almost goes back far enough to know me when I was.
Ray's got a hat. Ray's got a good hat here.
But Phil, just so you'll know, our presidents have fudged these numbers every administration on unemployment in general.
You think it's a conspiracy? How does the president fudge the numbers?
It's really quite easy.
You've been listening to Tim too long.
It's really quite easy. It started long before.
It comes from a different bureau. It comes from a different.
All right. Somebody wrote a note here. James Hall wrote. So, what specific policy of Trump's has resulted in lower black unemployment?
Tax cuts.
Tax cuts, as well as reducing these onerous.
Has not appreciably affected black unemployment.
All the regulations.
Has not effectively decreased black unemployment.
Yes, it has.
Something has, because
show
the Bureau of Labor
me some numbers and tell me where you got them.
Okay.
Court.
I'll show you. So, here's what it is.
Look.
If you people aren't watching this, you really should be.
Really?
I mean, we've got a festival. We've got a festival of hats, and then a Trump puppet, and
of course, next month Trump will be Putin's puppet, according to Trump.
By police vote.
And what is
all right. So I want to respect people's opinion. So let's just take one thing at a time.
Yes, sir.
Is the black unemployment at a low rate?
No.
No.
How can you prove that?
Well, according to the Urban League, which has been tracking this sort of thing for over 100 years, black unemployment usually hovers around twice what the general rate of unemployment is. We've had all of this supposed growth over the last year, or actually over the last 8-9 years, and it did not affect black unemployment appreciably.
So let me ask you this question, just one point at a time. So is it less or more unemployment under Obama than Trump?
Actually, I can answer that
No,
one.
I want to ask the expert.
No. But what I'm saying is that under Obama, unemployment went down at a faster rate than it has under Trump. Okay. In other words, there may be less unemployment under Trump than there was under Obama, but under the Obama administration, let me finish, SG. Under the Obama administration, the rate of unemployment went down more appreciably than it has with Trump.
You know that President Obama actually inherited a recovery? Do you know that in his
a recovery? Do you remember what was happening when he took office and how he had to bail out all those goddamn companies?
Do you hold it? Do you believe
it wasn't until the 4th month of the Obama administration until actually things turned around, and it couldn't been attributed to Obama. It was actually some legislation from the Bush administration where he in fact inherited a recovery, and that's when it happened, right around the 4th month of 2009.
You're wrong.
No.
You're wrong. What happened was Obama inherited a mess.
He inherited a recovery.
No, he didn't.
No,
Listen,
he didn't.
we were within 3
because
days.
the stimulus was first.
You call the banks going into default. You call the banks going into default an upward trend.
Are you familiar with the word Forbes?
At one point, we were within 3 days not of a recession, but actual depression.
Well, that's what they said about North Korea and nuclear war. But hey, do you believe Bloomberg, Alex? Do you believe Bloomberg? Bloomberg's headline here is under economics: black unemployment is at an all-time low.
All right, and what kind of jobs are you talking about?
Unemployment, it fell to 6.6%.
You can put people to work at big box stores stuffing bags and call that an improvement. What really matters is what's in your paycheck.
You know what the improvement could have been, Jack? The improvement could have been that their unemployment compensation ran out. And once that happens, you are no longer on the unemployed rolls.
This is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Yeah.
Well,
this is nuclear to me. But they said that 6.6% still high because other groups in April was 4.8% for Hispanics, 3.6% for whites, and 2.7% for Asian Americans. So
are you familiar with labor participation rates?
No.
Alex?
No.
And your gentleman who's okay. So the labor participation rates under Obama were totally different from what they are now. All of a sudden, we have more jobs than people available.
Wait a minute.
The labor you can look at
and Alex just
the unemployment. You can look at the
that's something that is very, very true.
You can look at the whatever. but it's the labor participation rates, which were horrible under the Obama.
Let Jack speak.
Alex just pointed out something that's really quite true. When you no longer are getting unemployment checks, you are effectively taken off the unemployment rolls. That's been true since they jacked with those statistics back in the 70s. You know, we black folks have a saying that is still very, very true. Last one hired, first one fired. Another thing that is very true is that figures lie and liars figure.
All right. You know who I look to is Diamond and Silk. If Diamond and Silk.
Okay.
So I look to them as people who, because I really don't have the black experience, but they are people who.
I knew when she was great.
Pardon me?
Yeah, she didn't think that much of you, Phil, but I'll give you. She gave you a rating of a 6.2.
They are, and so when people on Facebook or whatever, they say this about that, I use what they are saying. I use what they say. The labor participation rate now is so much lower.
Well, let me ask you this: what constitutes a good job? Where jobs where people are working building things that always pay better, or these bullshit service economy jobs that seem to be what folks wind up working at?
Well, wait a minute. Let me finish mentioning. Let me mention something here. Hold on a second. SG, you said that Obama inherited an upswing economy. What did Trump inherit? Wait a minute. What did Trump inherit?
No, I think that he inherited a pretty good economy.
Okay, and would that be as a result of Obama? Would that be as a result of Obama?
Let me say this about that, and I'm glad you brought this up, because Hillary and everyone said if he got elected, that there would be Armageddon, that there would be the world. He said that the world markets would collapse. They said that there would be recession. And yet,
it's still early in this administration.
No, this is what was said.
We're getting into
we're getting.
And that's what he promised.
Well, you may see may see a lack of that growth because of the current trade war that's about to happen.
Now we're about to hit 4% GDP.
There's a theme. There's a theme being played. There's a theme being played. SG, we're playing the theme. We gotta go. SG, we gotta go.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do. God,
how much tariffs did they put on talk shows?
You look, and you know what? You look like a perverted. You look like a perverted Dr. Seuss character right now.
Hey, did they put a time on talk shows?
Yeah, put a time limit on you, Phil. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. Jeff, thank you for joining us this evening. It's even just a frustration listening, isn't it? Brian Ludwig, we always love having you here. Any last words?
No, it's just bullshit.
Okay.
Shining dog hitting the diamonds.
Yeah. SG, always a pleasure talking with you. And, of course, Ray Renati, what can I say? You're one of the best. Thank you for joining us once again. I hope you'll all maybe go over and call Jack and continue this argument with him. I'd like you to all kind of wave goodbye and say goodbye to those folks out there in television land. All right, there they are, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Citizens Panel. They're going away now, and I'll make sure they go away because I'll get rid of them. And the next show, which is Jack's show, Jack Bishop's show, The Intersection, is next over most of the same station. I'll see you tomorrow night after Damian Chaplin does the exchange. I'll see you at 10 o'clock, same time. Connections is on at 1 o'clock this morning. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye, everybody.